Reaper is so edgy, and really it's just living its best life. Or afterlife? Anyway, this is its job gear. I really like the hat. I'm pretty sure that I heard somewhere that covering one of your eyes will increase your DPS, so it's got that going on. And scythes are one of the coolest weapons in all of creation, and yeah, this does not disappoint. But first, I have a disclaimer. I was sponsored by Square Enix to try out this development build of Endwalker, and everything that you see here is subject to significant changes. That includes potencies especially, since a lot of them change throughout all of the jobs. I would not worry about them. But anyway, let's take a look. Reaper has two main resources. There's the soul gauge, which is the red one, and the shroud gauge, otherwise known as the blue one. The overall goal is to use your normal attacks to generate soul gauge. Then you spend this soul gauge to use avatar attacks. Using one of those attacks will unlock the use of a Soul Reaver attack, and those will generate Shroud Gauge with the blue one. And then you spend the Shroud Gauge to let the avatar possess you, which I'm sure is perfectly safe. Once in your spooky mode, you go real fast and you alternate attacks, and you finish it off with a big 1000 potency casted attack called Communio. Also, this graphic is just a single target. There's also AoE versions of this stuff. So for the normal attacks that generate your soul gauge, Reaper is a melee, and thus it must have a 1-2-3 combo. It is known. And that combo is Slice into Waxing Slice into Infernal Slice, all of which will increase your soul gauge, which is the red one. Then for AoE, you have an AoE combo, Spinning Scythe into Nightmare Scythe. Please do not use this on single target. And then there are two normal attacks that are on charges. This is Soul Slice for single target and Soul Scythe for AoE. These will generate a whopping 50 soul gauge. Okay, so that was the normal stuff. Next are the avatar attacks, all of which will cost 50 soul gauge. There's Bloodstalk for single target and Grim Swath for a cone AoE. Both of these will unlock one Soul Reaver attack. Then there's an additional one on a minute cooldown called Gluttony. This is a big potency AoE that gives you 2 Soul Reaver attacks. Now on to the Soul Reaver attacks. There's 3 of them, and these are the ones that generate 10 Shroud Gauge, the blue one. For single target, there's Gibbet and Gallows. These are the ones with positionals, and when you use one of them, it will enhance the other one, so you will be alternating uses of these. As a side note, these will also alter your Bloodstock, but that just happens anyway. You don't really have to think about it. It's just the button changes. And the AoE Soul Reaver attack is called Guillotine, which is a cone. Once you've got 50 Shroud Gauge, it's time to spend it on Enshroud to, and I quote, offer your flesh as a vessel to your avatar? You get a whole makeover with glowing red eyes and glowing arms and probably a whole slew of back problems but hey, you do more damage now. Your Soul Reaver and Avatar attacks will now transform into their Lemure versions. Okay, so basically you have 5 available Lemure Shroud stacks. When you spend these on the upgraded Soul Reaver attacks, they will burn up and allow you to use the upgraded Avatar attacks. So for single target, you will do this. Void Reaping into Cross Reaping, which will burn up 2 Shroud stacks and allow you to use Lemure's Slice. You do that combo twice, and you'll have 1 stack left to use on Communio, the big finisher. Then instead for AoE, you'll do 2 Grim Reaping into a Lemure's Scythe, and you do that combo twice and finish it off with a Communio. And that is the core loop. It may sound a little strange, but once you play it, it's actually very intuitive and flows super well. I was pushing the wrong buttons, so do as I say and not as I do. But that's not all. You've got an array of tools to help you out. The most important tool is this debuff that needs to be on your targets at all times. It's called Death's Design, of course. It increases the damage that you deal to said target by 10%. Shadow of Death is your single target version of this, and Whirl of Death is your AoE version. I did not keep this up because I'm a big old dummy and I cannot read. Reaper's ranged attack is called Harp, and interestingly, it has a short cast time. Related to that, there's 2 gap closers, Hell's Ingress and Hell's Egress. One of them jumps you forward, the other one jumps you back. And when you use one, the other one changes back to a teleport to bring you back to your Hell's Gate that you left behind. It's called a Hell's Gate. And this will also make your Harp instant cast. And Reaper has utility. There's Arcane Crest. It's a shield that you put on yourself that's 10% of your HP and lasts 5 seconds. If it breaks, you get a regen on everybody. So helpful. And this is a fun one, there's Arcane Circle. It's a 3% damage buff for everybody around you for 20 seconds. But the real kicker is that they all have 5 seconds to land a weapon skill or a spell. And if they do, they will give you an Immortal Sacrifice stack, which you can have up to 8 of them if everybody does it. Yes, that means you 2 healers. You can spend these Immortal Sacrifice stacks on Plentiful Harvest, which goes up in potency according to how many stacks that you have. And as long as you have 1 stack, which you always will, it'll give you 50 Shroud Gauge, so you can immediately go into Avatar Possession mode. And the last thing that you've got is Soul Sow, which allows you to use Harvest Moon. It's a big AoE attack. Soul Sow is instant outside of combat, but it has a long cast time during combat. So you'd probably only be doing this during downtime or of course outside of battle. And that is everything for Reaper. I had a freaking blast playing it. It just oozes style in everything that it does. Not to mention that I'm a particular fan of Reapers in general, winky face. Thank you so much for watching, and all of my videos on the Endwalker job changes are out now, so check out the playlist in the link in the description below to watch the next one. Okay, bye.